When asked why UFC Undisputed 3 is better than the modern EA UFC games, people usually talk about Pride Mode, or the attention to detail in the pre- and post-fight cutscenes, or the marginally better grappling system. But in my opinion, I believe the striking is far more realistic. Firstly, we have the footwork. In the EA UFC games, the strikes are almost entirely independent from the footwork. Sometimes you can see that the fighters slide across the floor while their punch is being thrown or retracted. And this basically turns the strike into a homing missile. This means that you can throw carelessly with no concern for distance management, and you can pressure your opponent far too easily. However, in Undisputed 3, even the forward moving lunging hooks will keep the fighter in place for a moment while they retract the punch. This slows the fighter down and contributes to a greater sense of rhythm. If you've ever trained in real life, you'll know that it's impossible to strike with any significant power or speed without having the footwork to match. Let's talk about the second detail. Counter windows in Undisputed 3 are longer, and one mistake can lose you the fight. I noticed when I played EA UFC 5, I could miss a kick and land right in front of the opponent, but I could bring my block back so quickly that they had barely any time to capitalize on my mistake. In Undisputed 3, kicks feel far more risky, naturally reducing the amount that they are thrown, rather than having their damage nerfed to oblivion to stop them from being spammed. On the subject of spam, you'll notice that the amount of strikes thrown in a match in Undisputed 3 is a lot closer to the typical amount of strikes thrown in a real fight. I think this is because of a combination of factors, such as increased damage and stamina penalties. There is a much greater sense of danger in Undisputed 3 because one good shot can change the fight. When I play online fights through Parsec, I never feel as if the knockouts are lucky or undeserved. The reason you got knocked out is always obvious, and the game feels balanced and competitive. When you win in Undisputed 3, you feel like you understand MMA better than your opponent. However, when you win in EA UFC, you just feel like you understand the game mechanics of that game better than your opponent.